It's Jason Abraham, the Shadow Teacher, and here I am once again in my Metro Man attire. And I believe someone made the comment in one of my older videos that when I was wearing this very attire that I looked like Metro Man from the movie Megamind, from that bit when Metro Man fakes his own death and goes off to be a recluse and hide away from humanity. And that's much of what I feel like. A lot of times when I put this attire on, there's a good reason for it. I need a good rest. And recently, that reason being is when you start to level up, when you're leveling up on all bits of your potential, and your physical, your mental, and your psychic is just coming together, and you're stepping in to the person who you were called to be. And in particular, my psychic energies have really been building. Whenever this happens, though, you're always going to get some pushback. But I'm not going to say where that's going to come from, not here on YouTube at least. But the pushback is going to be there. Usually it's not uncommon that you're going to face some psychic attacks that want to challenge the progress that you're making, especially if you're moving against what these particular forces want to do in the world. And that happened to me this past week in my dreams, in my waking life. I've been attacked on all sides, having dreams of being hunted and chased, fighting off adversaries in my dreams, unrelenting attacks, and then that showing up in my waking life, all this stuff coming that is wanting to pull my attention away from the path I need to be on, having just to constantly say no, 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 just having my willpower sucked away and drained. And what most people don't know is that willpower is a finite thing. And if you're constantly in a situation where you're having to exert willpower to such a high level, and you're not being filled in your soul of something that just recharges you, where you can just feel at ease, then eventually you're going to break. And what I can feel in me is we're normally, or in my best possible place, I very much have a live and let live ideology with life, and believe that even stuff that I find annoying or even evil has its place in the world. When my willpower is sapped, I start to get angry, and I start to feel an intense hatred and disdain, in particular a hatred for what I call sheeple. And whenever I feel this building and I feel such an intense, potent hatred and anger, then I know I'm just not getting something my soul needs, and that my resources of will are being tapped. And what I always do when these emotions come on is I just try to take myself away from people. I know that if I act on these feelings, I'm going to do something I regret, whether it be being verbally abusive or physically abusive. And I know if I do that and I act on that, I'm going to regret it. It's not truly in the highest good for me or whoever I may lash out on. But when I feel myself getting backed into this corner, I know the chance of this is very high. So here I am. I'm on a retreat today, and I'm recovering. And thankfully, I have a place I can retreat to when this happens, and I can feel it coming, and I chose to do that. But I'm just making this video just to let you know this is a real thing. This is what happens. And when you're working in the light, when you're working on that path, the temptation, the ideal again is to break you and make you a pawn for something evil by having you act in a way that's out of alignment with your soul's code. And it's okay to feel these things. You know, there's nothing wrong with feeling hatred and anger and disdain for people. Like those are actually normal, healthy emotions, especially when people are acting like idiots and are not showing up in a very conscious manner, that are just getting in your way in a very unthoughtful manner, even if they're not intentionally doing it, just when they're just going through their robotic motions. It's okay to feel disdain. Like, that's just going to happen. There's nothing wrong with that. What matters most is what you do with that. And like when it starts to stew in you over and over again, and just when that hatred starts to come to a boil, that's a problem. The healthy feeling is to feel a little bit of annoyance or disgust, and then it just passes. That's the way you'll feel when you're in a decent place. When you're in the best place, you can even you can shine your light on someone else. Kind of feel almost sorry. This is another sovereign being that has potential to do better, but they're not. And I want to just I kind of send them a little prayer. Just hope that they get to see their own potential and see the own light that they're capable of. Like when I'm in my best place, I can do that. But again, when I'm under attack and you're having to just fight all the time, then you get drained. So again, the point of this video is just to talk about the reality of these things. And whenever you feel something like this, you'll feel it in your body. You'll feel tension. Your energy's not going to be the same. You may be losing sleep. Like, all this has happened with me over the last week. My energy's been lower. I've been not getting good sleep. I've had, again, these dreams of attackers, of hunters coming in trying to violate me, and I've been fighting them off. I've had people in my physical world trigger me. I've had stuff show up in my life that is just stuff that's, not only is it not what I want, it's something that is going to take me down a dark path, or just take me into a path that my soul is not going to thrive in, and I'm having to say no to it. When all this is kind of happening at once, it's just draining the willpower. But again, action steps here. Let me give you some things if you're in this situation, if this video resonates with you. First and foremost, if you can get yourself away from people, do that. First, get away from people so that you don't do something you regret. Primal screaming, like just kind of letting out the rage, but doing it in a way, doing it in a place where you're safe, where you're not around people, and you just vent. Journaling, just honoring those feelings, letting them move. If you could get extended time away, there's a place that you feel safe, you can go to, and you can actually just take some time away from people for a few days, and then again, just let all this stuff go. Secondly, have things that really connect with your soul, stuff that doesn't require another human to be around. If you do have people in your life who can hold space for you, that's an ideal thing. When I was feeling this, I didn't have anybody around who could hold space for me, and I just had to deal with it myself. So, first, these are the sort of things, if you're on your own, have something that you have control over that can just kind of remind you of what you are and your connection to Source. Again, if you have great friends, family, loved ones, people who can hold that space for you, regardless of who you are, where you are, you can tell them what you're going through and just share with them. It's not their job to do that work for you, but it does help to have people who see you, who value you, who are not going to invalidate you for what you're feeling at the time. And eventually, again, if you can get in these spaces, it'll all dissipate and it'll pass, and the light will shine on you again, and the light will shine in you again, and the light will shine through you once again. It's just a matter of allowing that to happen and getting to where that could happen, and that light can be nourished. That being said, I'm going to nourish my light, and I will see you on the other side. Be well, my friends.